with you people under the following objectives. Basically, what is intestinal obstruction, what are the causes, classification, clinical feature, investigation, and the treatment. By definition, intestinal obstruction, any condition which interferes with the normal proportion and passage of the intestinal content is known as intestinal obstruction. May there so other definition of the intestinal obstruction, but for simplicity you should remember this one. As long as the cause of the intestinal obstruction, we divided the causes into two groups, dynamic causes or mechanical causes and adynamic causes, where no mechanical obstruction is present. Dynamic causes are further divided into intraluminal causes, intramural causes, and extramural causes. The intraluminal causes. No, the intraluminal causes can be because of the fecal infection. In some people, harsh fecal matter can lead into infection and obstruction. The intestinal obstruction can be because of foreign body. Sometimes it happens in children that they swallow some foreign body and it leads to obstruction when it's stuck in the ileocecal wall. Worms can cause, especially the Ascaris lumbricoides, when they are multiple, and mostly they cause obstruction when we give some antihelminthic medicine. When they become dead or their movement becomes slow, so in that condition they can lead to intestinal obstruction. Trichobezoar, Phytobezoar, these are also example of intraluminal causes. Trichobezoar, actually this is ball of hair, and Phytobezoar, ball of indigestible food. Trichobezoar usually develop in psychiatric patients, especially those patients who play with their hairs, they bite it and they swallow it. And gallstone, alias, sometimes the huge gallstone, because of its weight and it lie because of weight and gravity. The gallbladder lie on the small intestine, and with the passage of time they develop a fistula stuck between the gallbladder and the small intestine. And the gallbladder stone directly travel into the small intestine and it lead to obstruction at the ileocecal wall. So these are few examples of the intraluminal causes. No, this is the example of Trichobezoar. This is a ball of hairs that is present in the stomach. It can cause obstruction in any part of the gastrointestinal tract. But this is one example. Most of the time, this happens in the stomach and can be distant downward as well. As long as the intramural causes are concerned, when the problem is in the wall of the small intestine, they are of the following types. Stricture. Stricture can be because of malignancy. Stricture can be because of tuberculosis. Stricture can be because of any obstruction. Can be other chronic infection. Malignancy. Malignancy can also lead to intestinal obstruction that develop from the wall of the gut. We have seen so many cases, and it is written in your belly and law that when the colon completely obstructed by the malignancy, it takes 18 months to 24 months for full obstruction. and this is interoception. You can see over here. Interoception basically inversion of one portion of the gut into the other portion. It is apex interoceptum interoception, and this is the neck. So this is common in children from 3 months up to 6 years, but can happen in adult as well because of the gut polyp or Meckel's diverticulum. The most common type of the interoception is aleocolic interoception that occur up to 70%. Rest of the types are aleo interoception, aleocolic interoception, aleocolic interoception, colocolic interoception, retrograde, and multiple types. And the other is volvulus. Volvulus, you can see this is the volvulus, and this is abnormal twisting of the gut over its narrow mesentery. The most common volvulus usually occur in the sigmoid colon when it is loaded and it has prolonged mesentery, and the mesentery is narrow. Interoception volvulus can occur in the cecum in any part of the gut that is not fixed. And as long as the extramural causes are concerned, that can be bands, adhesions, and hernias. Bands can be congenital and can be acquired, and the acquired bands are usually occur after surgery because of the talc powder, starch, silk, suturing material, and foreign bodies. The same are the adhesions, and hernia can also lead into intestinal obstruction when the herniated portion become strangulated. The hernia can be in the inguinal region, intra-abdominal like diaphragmatic hernia, inguinal region, spigelian hernia, and obturator hernia, and femoral hernia. So these are the types of the extramural type of dynamic intestinal obstruction. The adynamic causes, in this condition actually there is no gut motility and no mechanical obstruction, paralytic illness and pseudo obstruction. Paralytic illness basically occur in septicemia, in immune suppressive patient and suppressant patient, and weak diabetic uremic patient. And pseudo obstruction, in that condition there is no mechanical cause. Though mechanical cause is not present, but still this type of obstruction has also characterized by the sign and symptom of the intestinal obstruction without any lesion in the lumen. Apparently you will not find no band, no volvulus, no interoception, no malignancy, no stricture, but still it will be obstructed, and in that condition that can be because of the, as I mentioned you before. After this, we will discuss the clinical feature. The cardinal feature of the intestinal obstructions are as follow, but the pattern will be changed according to the site of the obstruction. In all cases of the intestinal obstruction, intestinal colic or abdominal pain will be there. The pain will not be continuous, it will be colicky, vomiting, abdominal distension, dehydration, absolute constipation. But the pattern can be changed according to the level of the obstruction. If the obstruction is in the small intestine at a high level, now the most prominent presentation will be vomiting, dehydration, and the abdominal distension will be very minimum, and air fluid level on X-ray, they will be very few one. But if the obstruction is at a low level in the small intestine, the pain will be the most prominent symptom instead of vomiting. Abdominal distension will be there, vomiting, dehydration, constipation. But in this condition, when you see the X-ray, inshallah, I will show you in the next slide that you will find multiple air fluid levels. In a normal person, 2 air fluid level are acceptable without any intestinal obstruction. That will be in the stomach and in the cecum. So very few intestinal air fluid level in the small intestine when the obstruction at a high level, and when in the small intestine a low level, multiple air fluid level will be there. And if the obstruction is in the colon, in that condition abdominal distension will be the prominent feature, absolute constipation, vomiting and dehydration, and the colon will be distended. In small intestine obstruction, the abdominal distension will be in the center, but in large intestinal obstruction, the distension will be in the periphery. In case of volvulus, the pain will be sudden, sharp, and severe. While in case of strangulation that occur in strangulated hernia, the pain will be sharp, severe, and it will be constant. It will not be colicky, as I mentioned before, because of the blood supply will be compromised. On examination, we approach from the hands, the pulse will be feeble and the patient will be tachycardic. Pulse will be high, but remember, the pulse will be changed according to the age. If a pulse of 100 in an old age person, this is quite significant. A pulse in a young person, man of 80, 90, this is not significant. BP will be low, temperature, this is not mandated, the temperature will be high. But if the obstruction is prolonged and there are chances of strangulation, and then this can be changed. And as I told you, the dehydration, because of the vomiting and dehydration, the skin turgor will be lost. The eye will be sunken, the tongue will be dry, the lips will be dry. So these are the general physical examination. As long as the systemic, we mostly emphasize on the abdomen. Usually a normal person has scaphoid-shaped abdomen on inspection, but in intestinal obstruction it will be distended and it will be tender, and percussion notes will be hyper-resonant. And gut sound, if the obstruction is because of the mechanical cause, in the beginning there will be exaggerated gut sound. But if 24 to 48 or 72 hours pass, no, it will be exhausted, no gut sound will be audible. And also in adynamic intestinal obstruction, gut sound will not be there, they will be absent. After examining, you should also examine the chest and systemic examination, but with the further as to be precise or topic, I emphasize especially on the abdomen. Investigation, we do 2 types of investigation. One for the routine investigation, and that are necessary for the anesthesiologist for the general anesthesia fitness, and they will demand and as per protocol of individual hospitals. And that CBC, we see the TLC count, we see the hemoglobin and urea creatinine electrolytes. Because of the dehydration, the urea creatinine and the electrolytes may be deranged, LFTs, random blood sugar of the patient, viral marker. Nowadays, this is routine to do viral marker of hepatitis B and C. X-ray chest is also necessary, but as long as the ECG and echo are concerned, they are as per need. Usually, if the patient is more than 40, we do ECG and echo when it is more than 45. So, this is not mandatory that in a young patient without any history, we should do ECG. No, this is not necessary. X-ray abdomen. We do X-ray abdomen in spine position and in erect posture. Ultrasound abdomen and CT scan abdomen. So this is very interesting. There are multiple air fluid levels, and this shows small intestine obstruction at a lower level. You can see, as I told you, that in the stomach and in the cecum, they two air fluid level are acceptable, but over here they are so 1, 2, 3, 4, so many multiple air fluid levels. This is an X-ray abdomen erect posture, and you see the multiple air fluid level. When you see the multiple air fluid level, you should come to the conclusion that this patient has intestinal obstruction, especially of the small intestine at a lower level. This is X-ray abdomen spine position. You can see the coiled spring pattern and the valvulae conventis. You can see these valvulae conventis completing, and this the prominent feature of the jejunum. While the ileum, the X-ray will be featureless. And in large intestinal obstruction, you can see incomplete ring and the hastration. Incomplete ring, multiple air fluid level, it's okay, but the hastration, the valvulae conventis will not be there. There will be hastration. Look at this. This is not complete. This is not complete. This is not complete. This is not complete. Intestinal obstruction due to valvulus. This is typical coffee bean sign on X-ray of the valvulus. As I told you that the valvulus and interception of so we will discuss its management later on in the end. So this is very typical for the valvulus. And this interception class, and you can see and you can compare it with this. This is because of the interception, and this is an X-ray. You can find these findings. Pneumobilia. In case of gallstone ileus, when there is a fistula tract between the gallbladder and the small intestine, you can see the air in the gallbladder. This is very typical. When the patient presents with this sign, you should come to the conclusion. And usually in old age patient, in immune compromised patient. And these are the strangulated diaphragmatic hernia and the multiple air fluid level in the chest. This is very significant. This is the target sign of interception on CT scan. So, after investigation, we move towards the treatment. Remember, there is one principle that prevention is better than cure. Treatment is tailored according to the cause, as I told you before, with the exception of the interception in children and valvulus in adults that can be sometimes managed conservatively. Rest of the causes of the intestinal obstruction will need exploration. So, the interception in children can be managed by radiological reduction. We put a Foley's in the rectum, we inflate the balloon and push air fluid. With this, sometimes the obstruction can be reduced in children, and the valvulus in adults, we put a flatus tube in the rectum and we try to reduce. Sometimes the valvulus can be untwisted, but rarely. And if these conservative treatment are not fruitful, then we move for exploration. But Before proceeding to the definite treatment, we should keep the patient nilpal oral. We should maintain 2 IV line. We pass the NG and the Follis catheter. And know the treatment according to the cause. And as I mentioned you before, that there are intraluminal causes, intramural causes, extramural causes, paralytic alias. So the treatment for the intraluminal causes, trichobazar. Once trichobazar lead to obstruction, simple open exploratory laparotomy. Gallstone alias, again exploratory laparotomy. But remember, in case of trichobazar, if it is in the distal colon, you can push downward, can be passed per rectum. And the gallstone, they are obstructed at the ileocecal wall, but it should be pushed proximally 2 feet proximal to the ileocecal wall. And then we should give an incision and remove the gallstone. The worms, again in the same way, exploratory laparotomy, and has to be removed mechanically. And the foreign body, if it is in the stomach or in the duodenum, you can remove through endoscopy, otherwise exploration is necessary. As long as the treatment of the intramural causes are concerned, stricture, whether it is because of the tuberculosis or some ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, in tuberculosis, you can do stricturoplasty, but most of the time, the best option is excision and anastomosis, resection and anastomosis. As long as the malignancy is concerned, in that case, depend on the situation. If you can excise the malignancy 10 centimeter proximal and 5 centimeter distally with a free margin, you should excise an anastomose. But if it is in the distal portion and the patient presented with in emergency with intestinal obstruction, simple is there, do Hartmann procedure. As long as the interception is concerned, again conservative management not successful, then you should do, but try to reduce it manually. If again it's not successful, then resection anastomosis. And with the volvulus, if the flatus tube, the reduction through the rectus tube is through the rectal tube is not possible, then exploration. And in that case, this is a law for the volvulus, especially in the sigmoid colon, that do excise the twisted portion, distally close it as a Hartmann, and proximally externalize as colostomy. Treatment of the extramural causes. As in the beginning I told you that prevention is better than cure. If it is congenital, then definitely you will have to explore. But if it is post-surgical, so it is ideal to do minimum manipulation, avoid talc powder, star, and avoid foreign body to remain over there. We have removed abdominal gases from the lumen that was completely obstructing. It was lying outside and entered into the lumen without any leakage and caused complete obstruction. And as long as the band are concerned, simply divide the band, nothing else. And as long as the hernia are concerned, if it is diaphragmatic hernia, you will have to deal accordingly. If this inguinal hernia and leading to strangulation and obstruction, you will have to open the fundus first and then onward, and you will see to examine the gut whether it is viable. If pulsation is there, peristalsis is there, and the skin is shining, it means that, and changing the color from dark to pink, then it's a good sign, just reduce it. But if the dark color maintain, pulsation is not there, peristalsis is not there, and the skin and the color is dirty, then you will have to excise resection and anastomosis. As long as the related aerodynamic cause are concerned, you should remove the, if it is because of the septicemia, treat accordingly, and diabetes, uremia, you should deal with that. In pseudo obstruction like Hirschsprung disease, again resection, anastomosis. I am not going to go in detail the complication and other complication of these intestinal obstruction at this level. I think this is sufficient for you people. You will study in fourth year and in final year, inshallah. Any question, you can communicate with me. Thank you very much.